done, old Bella's on his way to the landfill. Cost me $20 and a six-pack for the garbage man. You'd think the $1 I give him at Christmas would be enough.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I washed your killing clothes. Have a nice day, honey.
Can I get a whooping?
Whoa, No Man presents, live from the nudie bar, the Married with Children podcast. And here are your hosts, Jerry, Justin, and Al. What's up, guys? Here we are, back in the nudie bar.
Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, being home was such a drag.
Yeah, and I'm trying to enjoy the sound of skin-on-skin contact, and here you are, yapping away. Like we have a show to do or something. Jesus.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, Marcy, keep going.
Yeah, there's nothing like being in the nudie bar, guys. We are in the Jiggly Room live. This is show number 3. We are covering Married with Children, episode 3, But I Didn't Shoot the Deputy. This episode was aired April 19th, 1987.
And for $100, name the chief export of the United States.
Wheat.
Machinery.
Machinery is correct. Now, which state produced the most U.S. presidents?
Illinois.
Virginia.
Virginia is correct. Now, which side of the brain controls analytical thinking?
The right.
The left.
The left is correct. And we'll be right back after this brief commercial message.
Hey, America, who do you call when you don't want to cook?
Ahabs.
Ahabs is correct. Yes, Ahabs for fish and fowl. Yes, opening soon in an economically depressed area near you.
I guess what we learned right off the bat is Peg pretty much sucks at trivia. I mean, don't ever go on Jeopardy. And, she can't get a single one right, but she definitely knows how to not cook.
Yeah, she got the commercial right.
Ahabs. Like, what is Ahabs? Like, how do you even come up with a name like that?
I thought it was weirder. Like, I expected them to say fish because of the name Ahab, but then they were like, and fowl. And I'm like, oh, you have chicken also? Okay, sure.
Yeah, I like how they call it fowl. It's so funny. Like that sounds appetizing.
Why would you name something so delicious, something so negative? Like, the guy was like, who discovered it was like, this is delicious. I can't have anyone else know about this, so I can have it all for myself. It's called foul.
It sucks, guys. Just don't go near it.
Yeah, don't fry
it's
it.
Foul.
Oh.
More for me. So, yeah, guys, go to Ahabs. You know, tell your wife she doesn't want to cook. You guys can just go to Ahabs and have some good fowl. So oddly enough, again, Al and Peg go to have sex on the couch.
And I'm
Who
giving
initiated
it to Peggy.
it?
Peggy initiated because she was rubbing him down and started, like, kissing him on the neck. And even though this one got interrupted, I'm giving the point to Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, she gets it. Because it would have gone down.
Yeah,
And I love how even at this point, not that this should be surprising anyone after that tirade in the first episode that she totally put Al on blast in front of Steve and Marcy as soon as they walked in, but she says 10 minutes, he had 7 more than we'll need. Now, do you guys ever remember when you were... it's funny because Al's like 40 years old. Like, why is he only lasting 3 minutes? It's like so weird.
Wait, that's not normal?
Yeah, I guess. Depends on what you're going for when you're...
Anyway, so what had, like, people busting the door or something? Let's change that subject.
Yeah, like, what is this all about? The neighborhood watch just walks in your house?
I can remember in the early 90s, like, I can remember people just walking into my house. Like, we knew them. They would be friends or neighbors or whatever, just walking into the house. But that doesn't happen nowadays.
Yeah, I do. I honestly do remember that quite well as well. I had a lot of family in the area, a lot of friends, and they would just come on over, walk through the screen door, you know. So that doesn't happen anymore at all.
I never lived anywhere with a neighborhood watch though.
Yeah,
which
me
is
neither.
which is good for me because I did a lot of bad things, but still, yeah. Worst neighborhood watch ever, by the way.
Oh yeah, they suck.
Yeah.
They just come in, drink his beer, and
Yeah, they literally give one beer to everybody, and then they give him like the empty little 6-pack holder. He's like,
Oh
"What the
really? I
hell?"
didn't even realize that.
yeah, it was great.
Yeah, like literally people walking into your house. I mean, I don't know. I'm a very different type of person. So if I get infuriated if I don't get a complete heads up that you're coming over. Like I moved in this neighborhood a year ago. Within like 10 months, I guess, the next door neighbor felt comfortable enough with me that he just rang my doorbell to ask me if I want to come over and hang out at his fire pit. And something about that really bothered me. Because isn't that like really crazy? I was like, dude, why are you ringing my doorbell? If I don't happen to see you when I'm pulling in my driveway, then don't bother me, please.
And that guy is now under his floorboards.
Do you call him Steve?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I told my wife that, we watched years of Married with Children together. She is just as big of a fan as I am. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't think anybody in the world is because...
And she doesn't have a podcast.
Yeah. She doesn't have a podcast. That proves she's not as big of a fan. And I said to her, sadly enough, hon, this stuff never happens, And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, there's really never going to be a Steve and Marcy in our life. Like, we're never going to have people that always hang out. Or, nobody has time for that. Nobody does this. Nobody does that. Nobody gets that comfortable. They have kids, and it's just a hassle. Like, nobody does things like that. And then she's like, well, what about these people next door? I go, I don't want them to be Steve and Marcy. Like, I like them. That's fine, but I don't want that. So, yeah. So, anyway, these guys just walk in the house. They're terrible. Their big announcement, which I kind of felt bad about, is that Steve and Marcy's house was robbed this afternoon. And, I guess that's funny or something for the show, but my place was robbed. I lived in an apartment, and they came in and took everything. And it's really weird because in this episode, they mentioned that first they go for the small things, then they come back and get the big stuff. And that is exactly what they did to me. But the problem is it was an inside job. It was like a real shady area I was living in. The landlord had this group of guys. He was like a younger guy too, like in his 30s. And there was all bad news. I should have never even been there. But yeah, I got hit twice and it was the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I actually got robbed once when I was like 10 or something as well. I was living in like a projects type area and they came in and I remember to this day they stole my entire VHS collection, like all my horror movies and Disney movies and the VCR and the TV. It was dreadful. And I always remembered like having a weird feeling that like, wow, like somebody was standing here. Like some stranger was standing right here, like looking at all my stuff. And it gave me like the eeriest feeling for, years. And I still think about it when I see things, on TV or movies where people have gotten robbed.
Yeah, it was terrible, dude.
Yeah, I got robbed, but luckily they stole all my roommate's shit because he had like an Xbox 360, a super nice computer, a flat screen TV. They go in my room. You were happy
to be poor then.
Yeah, well, they go in my room and see like a big back CRT TV that weighs 500 pounds with a Super Nintendo hooked up to it, and then just a stack of Super Nintendo games, and they're like, nothing in here, guys. So none of my shit got stolen, not a single fucking thing.
Wow. It's weird, Justin, that you say that because they took only the good stuff of mine, like the Blu-ray player, DVD, TV, computer, anything, my digital camera, which was a big deal at the time. It wasn't on your phone like it is. And all this other stuff, digital video camera, everything. And somehow they didn't touch any of my like memorabilia, and they didn't touch any of my movies at all, and none of the DVDs, none of the Blu-rays, nothing like that.
Wow.
Yeah, really weird. They just went for the big ticket items. So oddly enough, my sentimental stuff, the only thing I'm missing in that sense is everything that was on my computer. Other than that, nothing physically sentimental was taken.
Did y'all have the Hellraiser pinhead reaction of using fish hooks as revenge, or is that just Marcy?
Yeah, Marcy, man. Holy.
Now, the question before us is, what are we going to do about it?
I say we hunt the scum down and then we run them over with our cars. Then we get out these fish hooks.
Marcy!
I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me. It's just that I feel violated. Someone's been in my home, in my bedroom. I feel so helpless.
We'd all feel helpless in your bedroom, Marcy.
And she's against guns, and like she wants to have just as much, if not more, like vicious violence with a dog or hooks and everything else. So.
Look, you can't depend on anybody but yourself. I put this off long enough. I'm buying a gun.
A gun is not the answer. You can't curtail the criminal element by sinking to their level.
Oh, excuse me, miss, let's run them over and get out the fish hooks.
I was upset. I wasn't thinking clearly.
Now, come on. There's got to be a more humane way to protect our home and possessions.
There is. We'll get a dog. A good watchdog. A guard dog. A Doberman.
I'm sitting there and she goes, her and Steve are like, there's more humane ways to deal with this than a gun. And I'm like, okay, first of all, they want a gun, you want a dog. They want to shoot someone, you want to use your dog as a slave fighter to use its teeth to rip out someone's throat and possibly get hurt in the
Process.
Thank you. That's why I like you. In the process of this whole thing, yet you're more humane.
She's just loony. Yo, dude, you'll wait till you see the things. She has a lot of things going on in her head. Well, it's pretty
I
amazing.
can't wait.
Oh, God, dude. And I love it. It's all amazing. Believe me. It's really develops her character.
Steve, first thing tomorrow, we're going to one of those deadly doggy places.
Yes, Al, because we're against guns and the violence they stand for.
That's right. A dog. A vicious dog. With sharp teeth that'll go through a jugular like a hot knife cutting through butter on a warm summer night. So that the next guy who tries to get in my bedroom uninvited will walk out on bloody stumps.
By the way, before we go on much too further, I want everyone to remember Al just got his radio stolen out of his car. Just remember that.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. It's so funny, right?
Okay? Justin, remember this because it'll be
I'll remember it.
very important. Not
Very
today,
soon.
not tomorrow, but one day. One
In the
day.
near future.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's odd. But it's funny, too, that Al has, like, no compassion for Steve and Marcy. And, you know, when it was broken into, it's not like he didn't care, but he seemed indifferent. But as soon as you told him that his Dodge was broken into, he's like, that's it, I'm buying a gun.
When they first said that, I'm sorry about your car getting broken, I thought they were going to make a joke.
Yeah, sorry. No, I'm just sorry about your car.
Yeah,
Right.
like I thought that was the joke they were going to go with. And then it was like, no, his car actually got broken into, and now he's up in arms. Now he cares. Now he kicks everybody out.
Yeah, he kicks him right out. Like, what were they gonna discuss? I guess it was pointless. It was like so weird. I don't even know. But so Steve and Marcy go ahead and they're against guns, I guess. And no, we're not gonna talk politics here. I could care less what anybody does.
Yeah, I don't care if you buy a dog.
Yeah, exactly. You said it right there. Perfect. So they go and get a Doberman. The next scene is, I think it takes place weeks later.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks.
And the Bundys, oddly enough, are eating dinner, and Bella, the dog, is constantly barking. He has already eaten a neighborhood cat.
Yeah, and I just gotta stand up. I know most guys are dog lovers, but I'm a cat lover, so fuck this dog.
What are you, Alex? Are you a cat person or a dog person?
See, I lived with a cat for years. When I first moved out, I had to take the cat because my parents didn't want it, and they said, well, you have to take it when you move. And I gotta tell you, man.
Well, hold up. How did that conversation go? Son, you're taking the cat. I know it's not your cat, but you're taking the cat. Get it out of my house.
I was into him and stuff, sort of.
Okay, I don't want to know what you were doing with the cat, Alex.
Alex, what was this cat's name? Because when you just say I was into him, like it sounds creepy.
Oh, Randy.
Randy.
Never mind.
Randy the cat.
That's more creepier. Go back to just being a cat.
Well, it was named after the kid from A Christmas Story, Ralphie's brother, Randy.
Why Ralphie's brother?
Well, because my sister bought the cat, and she wanted to name him that, I guess.
So why didn't your sister take the cat?
I don't know. She just moved and then left him there. I have really no idea why he was allowed to be left there when she left, but when I left, suddenly I have to...
Well, we found out who the favorite child is.
Yeah, so Alex is the butt of the family. And what's more funny is you said it was named after the kid from Christmas Story. In my notes, I have a Christmas Story joke.
Wow. Well, it's weird because I was like, well, I'm just trying to move out and start my life, and I'm gonna have a cat running around the house.
Maybe you were trying to.
So you're a cat person then.
Well, here's the thing. The cat was such a bore, I could care less. And when he died, he died right in front of me. I literally watched him fall over and he, stared at me as he did his last breath and all that.
Are you serious? Jesus.
Yeah. I think it was April 12th, 2004, I believe. And, oh, wow, is that the date of this episode? No, it's 19th. Okay. The cat was so uninteresting to live with that I really just... The only reason I'd pick a cat over a dog at this point is because I think they're sort of cleaner. But he went through this period where he used to drag his ass across the carpet to clean it and stuff. And I was like, dude, this has to... I was like, what are you doing?
I was like, dude.
Yeah, so I really was not looking to replace him at all. Then when we bought this house, I was thinking, I think it would be nice to have a dog in the house. Then I started thinking about how disgusting and messy they are and stuff. And I go to my parents' house, and the dog takes a crap in the house when they're at work every day because I stayed there for a week. And he did it every day. So I was like, what the hell's going on in this house?
Sounds like you needed to take him outside, maybe.
I wasn't in the house. I come home before them, and the crap would already be there. Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, I decided I don't want any animals. But if I did get a dog, I would definitely get the Buck dog, just because I love this show.
Yeah. I'm a dog guy.
Yeah?
Yeah. My dog's pretty cool. He doesn't get a bathroom in the house.
Okay. Anyway, so he ate a neighbor's cat, raw, I guess. So,
yeah, of course, raw. What do you think he made him?
Threw him on the grill.
Yeah.
Oh, this is protective gear. You see, Bella still hasn't accepted us as his rightful owners.
You named that dog after Bela Lugosi?
No, Abzug.
We thought it was kind of cute, but he won't wear the hat.
I didn't get that. What does that mean?
Did anybody look up who Bella Abzug is?
No, because I could never tell what name she was saying.
Yeah, I was like, huh.
So I was just like, you know what? If Marcy's into it, I'm pretty sure I won't care.
It's probably like a singer, whatever. If anybody wants, I can't do it right now, but if you want to look it up, it's Bela and then Abzuk. That's his name. So anyway, the neighborhood watch just opens his door again and says that another guy's house was robbed. And it's like, how ironic that these guys are supposed to prevent break-ins, and all they do is break into people's house and tell them things.
Oh, listen, Al, by the way, we want to apologize about your fence.
What happened to my fence?
Bella ate through it.
Wow. It was just a little piece.
Yeah, not much really, about the size of a human face.
Rhodes, what are we going to do about this?
Look, we'll handle this the same way we dealt with the cat incident. Get estimates and we'll make it good.
And by the way, Bella chewed a hole in Bundy's fence.
Yeah.
Remember that. Because it's 2 times this episode, remember this, because it comes into play later.
I like that. By the way, Bella Abzug is an American lawyer. It's a girl, actually, and a leader of the women's movement.
What?
National Women's Politic.
Oh, that's why Marcy likes her.
Yeah.
The women's movement. Wow.
I was right. If Marcy's into it, I'm not.
There's some women movements I'm into.
Specifically, the lady over there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the dog chews a hole in the Bundy's fence, about the size of a human face. And so Al's sleeping, and all of a sudden you hear glass break. Then you hear sounds that really do sound like breaking and entry sounds. And then you hear another glass break, and Al freaks out. He says, get the gun? Do you want our names to be in the newspapers? This, that, the other thing. He really believes he's getting hit, for good reason. So he finds the gun, and then he says, "Where are the bullets?" And Peg put him in the bowling ball fingers. Like if he really wanted to hide him from Al, maybe him going to bowling every Thursday is not the best idea to hide him in his bowling ball, right?
Right.
Yeah, well, she was trying to hide him from Bud, but you're right. It's still a stupid choice for her to put him in that. What I find funnier is when she's like, "Call the police," and he's like, "For what? A noise?" And she's like, "Call him." And he goes to pick up the phone, and Kelly's on the phone. And instead of going, "Hey, there's an intruder in the house. We have to call the police. We might all die," he goes,
he's like, I can't call. Kelly's on the phone. And the best part is this joke goes on later. He's walking down the stairs, and this is like, at this point, the show is dead serious. There's almost no comedy at this moment. Except for that, and then he's walking down the stairs with a gun. He goes, "Peg, if anything happens, take the kids, run to the neighbor's house," or I forget exactly what he said. But then he goes, "And if Kelly hangs up the phone, call the cops."
Police.
Yeah. Dude,
that was really funny.
It's so funny because it's like, wow, what a reminder that we're watching a comedy. Like, oh my God, dude, you just said that again in a tense moment.
I do have a big problem with this whole scene, though. So,
okay.
To finish out the scene, he claims he hears something, and he goes, "Oh, it's outside on the porch, on the back porch." So he goes outside.
Okay, creep, I see you. Freeze or I'll shoot.
Oh, my God. Al! Al! Oh! Oh, Al, are you all right?
Yeah.
What happened out there?
I just shot Steve and Marcy's dog.
All right, I think Alex is a cat person. He just lied at a dog dying.
Oh, stop. He died 30 years ago.
Here's my issue. All the noises we heard definitely sounded like they came from inside. I don't think he would have heard them if it really was outside, and if it was just Bella just in the bushes, like...
Well, what if Bella knocked over a table and glass fell off?
I'm so glad you said that. Guess what you can see when Al goes outside? The chairs and the table perfectly fine. Sitting there with no issues. You don't hear any glass. There's nothing you can see or tell where there's glass breaking or anything like this. This is the second time in this episode where just the story along, they have to do a weird thing that doesn't make sense, much like the neighborhood watch showing up. They do it again with this scene because there's just, I guess most people when they're watching would not be watching it over and over again in 87.
Right.
So they wouldn't have seen it.
Also, the way that he shoots the dog later when we find out what the dog was doing, and what he describes is like, don't move or whatever, like that doesn't really add up either. I kind of just chalked it up to like, well, it's a sitcom,
Well, how about it was dark? He thought the prowler was crouching down and about to lunge at him, right? Maybe that would work.
Yeah, I get that. Because he says he sees yellow eyes looking at him, and you do clearly hear bushes rustling. Like, you do hear that. So, like, him out there, why he shoots the dog makes sense. It's just the noises that led him to outside don't make sense. Yeah.
And so Kelly goes, "You couldn't tell the difference between a human being and a dog." And he says he was wearing a hat. It almost doesn't make sense because earlier Marcy said he refuses to wear the hat. So I guess we're to believe that he eventually was down with it. Like, why would you point out that he does not wear this hat you got for him that I guess looks like Bella Abzuck? I don't know if she wears a hat. Then that's how Al didn't know it was a human or whatever.
Yeah, I think that it was just sort of like one of those things where it's like when they first got the dog, they were trying to give it the hat. It wouldn't wear it. Eventually, they kind of got used to it. The dog kind of got used to them a little bit. They eventually got the hat on. But really, it was just a reference to a later joke. It was a setup to a later joke, which is like he was wearing a hat.
Yeah. And the best line was when Steve said he refuses to acknowledge us as his rightful owners.
Yeah, and him wearing the hat, maybe that was him like the dog getting used to them. And
it could be actual good story writing in a way, because you're right. That would give us a passage of time like, he wouldn't even do that. They had to wear those things on their arms because he was trying to kill them every time they went near him. And then now he's wearing the hat. He's getting acclimated to his surroundings. He's even like wandering off now and taking a crap in the Bundy's bushes. Like it could be a good way to actually show why they would even care a little bit more and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because if the dog was still being a vicious asshole, then they probably wouldn't be that upset. I mean, they'd probably still be a little upset, but they wouldn't have had any attachment. So, yeah, it could actually be, like, legit good writing.
I was going to say, I love Bud's reaction of, can I go see the dead body? And it reminded me of, like, Stand By Me, and it got me thinking, when y'all were kids, like, and y'all would go play, like, in the woods or whatever with your friends, did y'all have, like, just morbid moments like that as a young boy you were like, I've got to see this, whether it was like someone telling you about a horror movie they saw or finding like a dead squirrel or something like that? Did y'all have anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I was always into weird stuff, gross stuff, whatever. Like if there was something dead and I was a little kid, I probably wanted to see it. Can't say that I walked upon many actual dead bodies of people, but
I've never, or I might have seen a dead dog. But, like, I've seen weird things with dogs, like, got hit by cars and they were dragging their back legs and stuff. So, to me, that was more terrifying than...
Oh, that's so disturbing. I've seen that, too.
My school bus ran over the back of a neighborhood dog's legs one day. And, like, this is, like, 4th grade or whatever. One of the kids on the bus just starts going, look at the doggy floppage. Look at the doggy floppage. And that has stuck with me my entire life, was this kid just yelling, look at the doggy floppage.
Yeah. I seen my friend's dog get hit by a car right in front of me. That was brutal, too.
Oh, okay, let's change the subject. This is getting depressing. Isn't this supposed to be a comedy show? So Peg, oddly enough, gets turned on by the fact that Al just offed the dog. And, he's a good shot. He popped him right between his eyes. And there's not a lot of space between those eyes, as Al tells us. And he still did it. I don't know how he would know in the dark. Steve and Marcy come by. And Al, trying to evade the whole point of why they're there, is, like, so funny. Because it's almost, as he's doing it, that's exactly what I'd be doing. Like, I'd be like, wow, look, it's Steve and Marcy from next door. Like, let's focus that they're from next door and not why they're here. Or, hey, so what are you two crazy kids do? Yeah, it's so funny, man, that whole exchange.
And Peggy will not say anything. Yeah. And then when she finally does say something, she brings up the one point she shouldn't bring up. She brings up the dog. Right. Like, seriously? Amazing. Like, you don't, like, we just killed the dog. The whole point of us not bringing it up, if they don't bring it up, and you bring up the goddamn dog.
And I like how Al says, you gotta let me finish when I explain it to you. And he goes, okay, I shot your dog. I'm finished.
Yeah.
Like, what else? Why would he say, like, you would think if he has a lot to say, and it's weird, it doesn't make any sense, because he should have, if he had a lot to say and they should let him finish it, you would think it's, I shot your dog. Listen. I thought there was a prowler. Glass was broken. I heard rustling as if someone was trying to get our house. I went out there. All I saw was...
He had a hat on.
Yeah, he had a hat on. I'm really sorry. I thought I was shooting a human being, but I shot your dog. And they were like... And then, okay, I'm finished. But instead, he has nothing. He has no real explanation.
And then maybe it's a lack of sympathy, maybe? Like, maybe he doesn't really care that much?
No, I think he cares. I think he's sort of like, oh, man, what did I just do? He seems it.
I think he just doesn't want to deal. Like, he's the kind of person who he feels bad for it, but he doesn't want to deal with it. He doesn't want to, actually have to deal with these people. And you see it when Steve goes outside. You have him telling her that your dog came to my defense. The prowler shot at me. I shot back at him, and Bella just got caught in the crossfire. And Marcy's like, but I only heard one shot. And he tries to George Lucas the shit out of it. And
Greedo shot first.
The same, we shot at the same time.
Oh my, Bella shot first. Oh my God.
And then...
You shot my dog in the middle of a bowel movement?
Steve!
Yes, dear.
How do you know?
Well, number one, he didn't respond to any of my commands. And number two, his brains are in the begonias.
And Marcy's expression of like, why was I even believing Al? Like, you can just see it in her face where she immediately just goes, that motherfucker.
Yeah. Yep. And the best line, the line of the show is he alive? Yeah, no. How do you know? Well, he didn't respond to any of my commands, and his brains are in the begonias.
Oh, I was like, did they really just say that on TV?
Oh my God.
And Steve's delivery of that line is, perfect. And then my favorite line is when Marcy starts going off on Al, calling him like Mr. Macho, and Al's like,
You killer.
Anyone for a cake or coffee?
Now, listen, I said that I was sorry. Let me make it up to you. Let me get you another dog.
For what? Target practice? We told him not to get a gun. We told you not to get a gun, but you had to go out and be Mr. Macho. Now you've taken an innocent life.
Now, wait a second. This is not a defense. But that dog was anything but innocent. I mean, he bit you. He ate a cat. I mean, given enough time, he'd have robbed a bank.
like, of course, eating a cat, that is a gateway crime to robbing a bank for a dog. You don't think if they did a sequel to Cujo, it wouldn't be Cujo 2 robbing banks? It would. Yeah. He would be robbing everyone in clown mask. It would have been terrible, and I would watch this.
How much you want for him?
$1,000.
$1,000 for a dog that just sat there and let me shoot him.
Forget the money. You know what I want? Your gun, Al. Give me your gun.
All right.
He goes, well, how can I make this up to you? And she says the dog was apparently $1,000, which is still a lot even today. So actually, that's like almost saying $2,000 in 1987.
Well, also the dog, the protection gear they had, like those arm pads to train a dog. You can't just go down to Walmart to get those. Those had to be pricey.
Oh yeah, and God only knows how much the hat cost.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then how much they also made a mention of how much food the dog ate. Plus, I'm sure they paid some kind of money to the owner of the cat he ate. So it adds up.
Yeah, well, Steve said, he the same thing with the fence. Just give us a estimate and we'll take care of it. So he did pay for that eaten cat.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of paying the $1,000, I don't even know how the Bundys would never come up with that. Al would have to get his next 300 paychecks by Friday, you know. He instead, Marcy agrees to just give us your gun, and I was wondering, I was going to ask you guys, would you have done this? Now, honestly, when he walked over and just gave it to her in the box, I literally would be like, well, yeah, of course I would, because the gun was less than $1,000. So, like, it's like me giving you $250 or whatever out of $1,000. So yeah, I could just go buy another gun if I really want one. I mean, there's no difference. There's nothing to argue about. They go upstairs, and Peg is still in the mood for sex. So I think, you know what? She gets 2 points.
Yeah, I was going to say she gets 2 points. And let's also say that she is 100% willing to exploit the death of a dog to get laid.
Yep.
It also reminds me of a later show she's on. On Sons of Anarchy, she's a major character in that show. And there's a lot of instances where people die and things like that, and then people have sex that night. And it's oh, you know, yeah. And there's one I can't say, and it's very related to her, so I can't really say in case nobody watched that show. But yeah, it's very weird how there's like hints of that kind of thing going on, foreshadowing. So it's weird when they go upstairs that night, they just leave the patio door open, and the whole show is about prowlers breaking into your house, and they leave the doors wide open. So that was kind of funny.
Oh, well, you know, maybe they didn't realize it was open because Steve was the last one to come in.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a nice catch. But I think there might be an explanation with that where they just didn't check. Now, they still should have checked. I understand why Peggy didn't check. She was busy trying to get laid from a dead dog. But Al is a man. He should have checked.
Yeah, well, also he should have went out and addressed the body of the dog in some way. I mean, at least grab its paws and drag it near your. Do something. I don't know.
Well, what are you gonna do it? It's like one. It's like one
bag.
Yeah, but it's like 1 a.m. in the morning. It can wait till the morning.
Oh no, man!
It can wait till the sun's up.
No way. I think
raccoons and all kind of nasty critters out there.
Well, good. Maybe they'll lessen the load.
Yeah, and I don't know what time of year it is, but if it's hot out.
That reminds me. I'm actually really glad you said that. In the beginning of this episode, he says that it's the return of warm weather and feet don't match up.
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking to Alex about this. At one of the points when Steve leaves the house, like during the daytime, the next morning, Al says he took care of the dog. He had to pay the garage or the trash can guy $20, and then he admits that he only gives the dude $1 every Christmas, just to show you how cheap he is. But he gives him $20 and a 6-pack of beer to take care of the dog.
Right.
Steve comes over and was like, "Hey, a lot of things were said last night. We didn't mean it. You know, just give us back the dog, Bella's body, and we want to give it a proper burial, and we'll forget all about this," which is the universe once again standing right in Al's face and just slapping him.
Yep.
Just the universe had to get that one last hit in. So you have the back and forth, and you know how I talked about how you can tell facial expressions in this?
Mm-hmm.
Watch, if you go back to rewatch this episode, watch him during this conversation. He puts his hand on his head like he's thinking. His head turns really quickly as you see him pop with an answer in his head to give to Steve about the body of like, well, hell, I just got rid of the body. Oh, wait, yeah, let me do it. I caused all the problems. Let me bury the dog.
Right.
But if you watch him as an actor,
the thought process,
yeah, the thought, like you can see him thinking, you can see him pop with a solution, the quick head turn, him giving the quick answer, like that was just amazing. I know I'm really particular in this kind of stuff for this show.
No, it's good stuff, man.
That was a highlight to me because I was just like, that is acting, because that's how we do it in real life. Like we have that subtle like head turn as we realize what's going on. But my point of all this was when Steve leaves, you can see Christmas lights, the old classic big bulbed orange, blue, green, like full, you can't see through painted Christmas lights hanging on the window.
And after you said that, I watched and I saw it, and here's what I observed, which is more telling. In the next episode, those lights are not there.
Oh, but no, they are. At the end of the episode, at the end of episode 4, you say, I have it in my notes.
Well, at some point, they're not.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I looked, and there was nothing at one point.
So, you know what, Alex, you're right. They left at some point, I think. I'm going to have to go back and watch it, but they are there at the end of episode 4.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that.
So, let's talk about what this means. Al is lazy.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who leave the lights on year-round and just light them up in December. And only 3 of them. The funny part is only 3 light. So why would you even waste your time leaving them on if they don't even work?
Yeah, it's like one strand. We have to assume we haven't really seen like a full outside shot of the house except for like the end of the opening theme song.
Well, no, I'm using my future knowledge. There is a Christmas episode in season, I believe, 3, I think.
Really? Is that the first time that it's a Christmas episode? Season 3?
No, season 2 has a Christmas episode too. It's called You Better Watch Out.
Oh, okay.
And it's amazing. But season 3 or 4 is, either one of those two, is epic, dude. Sam Kinison is in it. It is amazing. It's a 2-parter. It's a big, big deal. And when he's outside, he lights the lights up. Like 3 of them are lit, just like Homer Simpson in the first Simpsons episode.
That's hilarious.
That's what it is. He's just a lazy bum.
Oh, that makes me laugh.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shoe. A while back, I advertised my shoe line, but apparently you weren't watching. So I'm back. Now, you can't tell me you haven't bought defective shoes, because I know. I sell them. So call 555-SHOE. Even if you don't have a problem and you just want to talk about feet, call. I'm serious. This is not a recorded message. I am a human being, damn it. That number is 555-SHOE. Let's go.
Like Jerry said, Al just threw the dog's body into the trash heap. He told the garbage man, at least. That was nice of him, and pried him with a 6-pack and $20. Guy was willing to throw in the back of the garbage. Steve wants a proper burial, so now Al has to come up with, he comes up with the whole idea that we'll bury him, so at least that gets the dog out of Steve's hands.
Yep.
And, he keeps possession now that he has to fake it. So they have this whole, real funeral, I think in the Bundy's backyard, or maybe it might have been Steve's backyard.
I'm sure it's Steve's backyard, because Steve said that they wanted to bury him under the tree where he did his business.
Right, yeah. So it's really well done, and the only people I suppose they can get to be in this funeral, the neighborhood watch, so they're all... They perform the whole thing, and the crate was $150. That means that this whole thing has now cost Al $500 between the gun and this thing now.
Which has to be over an entire paycheck or more,
God,
right?
Multiple paychecks for him.
And on top of that, the best part is when Peggy tells him how she got the crate to weigh so much.
Yeah, that's kind of the final jab.
Yeah, not only did we slap you in the face this entire episode, but right before it's over, we're going to let you know that crate is being weighed down by your bowling ball.
His brand new one, by the way.
Right. Yeah, she loads up with rocks and everything else. That wasn't enough. Don't get bigger rocks. Don't find bricks. Just find a maximum 16-pound bowling ball.
Yeah. Here's my question about Peggy. Where does she buy her clothes? It's literally she bought the Max from Saved by the Bell has a gift shop, and that's where she buys all of her clothes. It is just bright, and it look I swear to you, if you go back and watch Saved by the Bell, the intro,
right,
all the backgrounds, Peggy wears them at some point in this show.
Hey man, she has style.
Is that what you call it?
Oh yeah. No, I love how Peg dresses. And as a side note, when they were giving her the character of Peg, Katie Segal said she was not into how they wanted her to look at all. She was supposed to look like a white trash loser housewife, who just wears jeans and white T-shirts with print on the front, or just really gross, a loser sitting almost trailer park type.
Oh no, that wouldn't have been good.
Peg Bundy was originally seen as a couch potato. Katie Segal had a different spin.
And when she auditioned, her version of Peg made a huge impression.
She saw her not as a couch potato, but someone who still thought of herself as a hot chick. She wore the capri pants and she wore the 6-inch high mules.
I read the script and I thought, she should really care about herself. I mean, she dresses herself up, and I sort of see her as an ex-cocktail waitress, and, I just love that she takes such good care of herself.
She came in, read, that was it. She was Peggy Bundy, and it was fantastic.
She came up with that whole thing, and oh my God, is that such a better way to go? Looking at Peggy as a trashy loser, I don't think would have worked.
It literally could have ended the show, potentially. You know what I mean? It might not have been as people might not have connected with it as much.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Something so simple.
On the subject of Peggy, do y'all think she put the bowling ball in there on purpose, or it was just fresh on her mind since she hid bullets there? Did she do this as throughout this series? I always have the question of, did she do something because she's dumb, or did she do it on purpose to be spiteful?
I think she did it on purpose to be spiteful.
I think she's dumb.
Yeah.
See, I'm torn between both, because really she could have done it just because I got to find something that weighs heavy. Oh, well, I did just hide his bullets in the bowling ball. The bowling ball weighs a lot. Let me put it in there. And she doesn't have regard to its stuff. She's not going to think, he's going to get mad. She's just going to do it because it's just the first thing she thinks of.
But why would she do it on purpose in the sense that I'm going to screw Al today? Like, I think he's been through enough. She was already turned on by him shooting the dog, so she's not exactly against it. She hated the dog. She was not against buying the gun. There's really no reason for her to be mad or be spiteful to him in this point.
Unless she doesn't like when he bowls.
She never really, I don't know. She doesn't seem to have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Throughout the series, yeah.
I'm going to go with just dumb then. I think Alex has a good point on this. I think I'm going to have to go with dumb.
Yeah, because I don't see the motivation here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So how about, you're talking about dressing. How about Marcy wearing the sunglasses at the funeral? It's like nighttime.
I wrote in my notes, I wear my sunglasses at night so I can bury my dog.
Oh, you want to hear something crazy? I heard that song on the way home today, right before we recorded.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God.
Oh my God. I had it in my notes, and I was like, in my notes, I even debate. I put sing with a question mark. Should I just say it on the show or sing it? And I decided, well, I hate myself, so I'm going to sing it.
Yeah, just sing it. Yeah, who cares? We're beyond having people who listen to the show actually walk around with bags on their heads. Anyone who listens to the show is so embarrassed about it, so it's okay.
Yeah, one of the bags says bag written on it.
So the great punchline at the very end, it's beautifully written too. I mean, the fact that Peggy did that and Al's like, you put my bowling ball in there, and then all of a sudden he starts crying, and then he gets up and he's crying, and Steve goes to console him thinking he's crying for this stupid dead dog. And really it's just for his bowling ball.
Yeah.
Absolutely great. I mean, God, the writing is so good, man. Oh, it just hits every point, and it's so good. You know, it's funny that she put his ball in there, and then you make it funnier because then Al cries and Steve thinks it's for the funeral. Like, just so good.
Now I'd like to say a few words about the dearly departed. As you know, Bella was more than a dog to Marcy and me. He was family, one of us. Bella will be missed, but his death was not in vain. He taught us about the value of life, and that guns and violence are not the answer to society's ills. We can take consolation in the knowledge that while he only lived 1 year in dog's years, he lived 7 in people years.
What a great job.
Never having owned a pet before.
I gotta hand it to you.
I didn't realize.
That box even feels heavy enough to have a dog in it.
Short period of time.
What'd you put in there anyway?
Some rocks and your bowling ball.
But knowing that he's right here in the backyard where he was so happy makes us all feel a little less
No Ma'am will be right back to wrap up this week's review. Be sure to join their Facebook group page for all the podcast news and updates. Just type in www.facebook.com/groups/marriedwithchildrenpodcast. Be sure to subscribe to them on iTunes and please leave a review telling them what you think of the show. To subscribe to their YouTube channel, just go to channels and search up Married with Children Podcast. You can email them at marriedwchildrenpodcast@gmail.com. There you can send them audio clips telling them what you think of the show, or you can send in a clip talking about a future episode they will be reviewing. Any clips you send may be played on a future show. Thanks for checking out this review. Now the guys are going to give their final thoughts and ratings of this week's episode.
So, how do we rate Married with Children, Episode 3, But I Didn't Shoot the Deputy?
Justin, how many radios would you give back to Al, now that he's missing one, for how good this episode is?
Wow. How many car radios would you give him?
How many car radios would I give Al? I would probably give Al 3.5 car radios. Have to break one in half.
Nice. Yeah, right. That's kind of worthless.
Here you go, Al. Here's 3 car radios and a half of one. Good luck.
Hopefully one of the other 3 guys give you another half.
Yeah, for real.
How about you, Jerry? How do you rate this episode? How many car radios?
I looked at the episode, and the inner Dan Chase was like, Jerry, you have to give it a 0. He killed a dog. You can't have this. And I was like, Dan, just go watch Scream, man. It's fine. And I got it out, and I was like, you know what? I don't love this episode, but it's solid. So I'm giving it just a straight 3 car radios out of 5. It's a good episode. I didn't hate it. Nothing. There were some boring parts for me, but there were some really good one-liners. So it was kind of right dead in the middle. 3 out of 5 car radios. I liked it.
See, I give it a half point for killing the dog.
See, I don't want Dan Chase to hunt me down because he's from like Boston or something, and he knows people. He's got connections. I'm gonna end up as a prop on an Adam Green movie. I'm not doing that.
Sleep with the fishes, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I give this episode, because of there's so many great one-liners, like you said, and there's so many great moments to it, and it's definitely memorable. If this was not good, I could literally paint the whole thing in my mind and just see the whole episode. So that alone tells me something, that even if I don't see this as a standout episode, I think I really like it, and I have seen it about like 20 times. So I definitely really like it. So that's a 4 car radios out of 5.
It seems like an episode that I would probably always remember. Like, oh, that time Al shot the dog. Like it seems like one of those type of episodes.
Yeah, it's not standout in the sense that you'd put it in a top 10 of Married with Children episodes, but it is it's a standout in the sense that you'll never forget it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I also feel like if I was going back to rewatch the series and I was skipping certain episodes, I would skip this episode because I would go, oh yeah, he kills the dog. There was this line, this line, this line. Yeah, I remember that one. I'll go to the next one.
You say that now, but wait till you're on episode 9 and you think about it. You're like, I don't remember anything about it, except that he killed the dog.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed the review of episode 3, Married with Children. Tune in for the next show when we review Whose Room Is It Anyway? Steve and Marcy plan to add a new room onto their house using their tax refund money. Al convinces Steve to make it into a billiards room, while Peg convinces Marcy to make it into an exercise room, which leads...
Well, all done. Old Bella's on his way to the landfill. Cost me $20 and a 6-pack for the garbage man. You'd think the $1 I give him at Christmas would be enough.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I washed your killing clothes. Have a nice day, honey.
Can I get a whooping?
No Man presents, live from the nudie bar, the Married with Children podcast. And here are your hosts, Jerry, Justin, and Al.
What's up, guys? Here we are, back in the nudie bar.
Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, being home was such a drag.
Yeah, and I'm trying to enjoy the sound of skin-on-skin contact, and here you are, yapping away. Like we have a show to do or something. Jesus.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, Marcy, keep going.
Yeah, there's nothing like being in the nudie bar, guys. We are in the Jiggly Room live. This is show number 3. We are covering Married with Children, episode 3, But I Didn't Shoot the Deputy. This episode was aired April 19th, 1987.
And for $100, name the chief export of the United States.
Wheat. Machinery.
Machinery is correct. Now, which state produced the most U.S. presidents?
Illinois. Virginia.
Virginia is correct. Now, which side of the brain controls analytical thinking?
The right.
The left. The left is correct. And we'll be right back after this brief commercial message.
Hey, America, who do you call when you don't?
And it gave me like the eeriest feeling for, years. And I still think about it when I see things, on TV or movies where people have gotten robbed.
Yeah, it was terrible, dude.
Yeah, I got robbed, but luckily they stole all my roommate's shit because he had like an Xbox 360, a super nice computer, a flat screen TV. They go in my room. You were happy
to be poor then.
Yeah, well, they go in my room and see like a big back CRT TV that weighs 500 pounds with a Super Nintendo hooked up to it, and then just a stack of Super Nintendo games, and they're like, nothing in here, guys. So none of my shit got stolen, not a single fucking thing.
Wow. It's weird, Justin, that you say that because they took only the good stuff of mine, like the Blu-ray player, DVD, TV, computer, anything, my digital camera, which was a big deal at the time. It wasn't on your phone like it is. And all this other stuff, digital video camera, everything. And somehow they didn't touch any of my like memorabilia, and they didn't touch any of my movies at all, and none of the DVDs, none of the Blu-rays, nothing like that.
Wow.
Yeah, really weird. They just went for the big ticket items. So I get oddly enough, my sentimental stuff, the only thing I'm missing in that sense is everything that was on my computer. Other than that, nothing physically sentimental was taken.
Did y'all have the Hellraiser pinhead reaction of using fish hooks as revenge, or is that just Marcy?
Yeah, Marcy, man. Holy.
Now, the question before us is, what are we going to do about it?
I say we hunt the scum down, and then we run them over with our cars. Then we get out these fish hooks.
Marcy?
I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me. It's just that I feel violated. Someone's been in my home, in my bedroom. I feel so helpless.
We'd all feel helpless in your bedroom, Marcy.
And she's like,
Don't want to cook?
Ahabs.
Ahabs is correct. Yes, Ahabs for fish and fowl. Yes, opening soon in an economically depressed area near you.
I guess what we learned right off the bat is Peg pretty much sucks at trivia. I mean, don't ever go on Jeopardy. And, she can't get a single one right, but she definitely knows how to not cook.
Yeah, she got the commercial right.
Ahabs. Like, what is Ahabs? Like, how do you even come up with a name like that?
I thought it was weirder. Like, I expected them to say fish because of the name Ahab, but then they were like, and fowl. And I'm like, oh, you have chicken also? Okay, sure.
Yeah, I like how they call it fowl. It's so funny. Like that sounds appetizing.
Why would you name something so delicious, something so negative? Like, the guy was like, who discovered it was like, this is delicious. I can't have anyone else know about this, so I can have it all for myself. It's called fowl.
It sucks, guys. Just don't go near it.
Yeah, don't fry it.
It's foul.
Oh.
More for me. So, yeah, guys, go to Ahab's. Tell your wife she doesn't want to cook. You guys can just go to Ahab's and have some good fowl. So oddly enough, again, Al and Peg go to have sex on the couch.
And I'm
Who initiated it?
Peggy initiated because she was rubbing him down and started, like, kissing him on the neck. And even though this one got interrupted, I'm giving the point to Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, she gets it. Because it would have gone down. And I love how, even at this point, not that this should be surprising anyone after that tirade in the first episode that she totally put Al on blast in front of Steve and Marcy as soon as they walked in, but she says 10 minutes, he had 7 more than we'll need. Now, do you guys ever remember when you were... it's funny because Al's like 40 years old. Like, why is he only lasting 3 minutes? It's like so weird.
Wait, that's not normal?
Yeah, I guess. Depends on what you're going for when you're...
Anyway, so what had, like, people busting the door or something? Let's change that subject.
Yeah, like, what is this all about? The neighborhood watch just walks in your house?
I can remember in the early 90s, like, I can remember people just walking into my house. Like, we knew them. They would be friends or neighbors or whatever, just walking into the house. But that doesn't happen nowadays.
Yeah, I do. I honestly do remember that quite well as well. That I had a lot of family in the area, a lot of friends, and they would just come on over, walk through the screen door, you know. So that doesn't happen anymore at all.
I never lived anywhere with a neighborhood watch though.
Yeah,
which
neither.
is good for me because I did a lot of bad things, but still, yeah, worst neighborhood watch ever. By the way.
Oh yeah, they suck.
Yeah.
They just come in, drink his beer, and
they literally give one beer to everybody, and then they give him like the empty little 6-pack holder.
Like, oh really? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, like literally people walking into your house. I mean, I don't know. I'm a very different type of person. So if I get infuriated if I don't get a complete heads up that you're coming over. Like I moved in this neighborhood a year ago. Within like 10 months, I guess, the next door neighbor felt comfortable enough with me that he just rang my doorbell to ask me if I want to come over and hang out at his fire pit. And something about that really bothered me. Because isn't that like really crazy? I was like, dude, why are you ringing my doorbell? If I don't happen to see you when I'm pulling in my driveway, then don't bother me, please.
And that guy is now under his floorboards.
Do you call him Steve?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I told my wife that, you know, we watched years of Married with Children together. She is just as big of a fan as I am. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't think anybody in the world is because...
And she doesn't have a podcast.
Yeah. She doesn't have a podcast. That proves she's not as big of a fan. And I said to her, you know, sadly enough, hon, this stuff never happens, you know. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, there's really never going to be a Steve and Marcy in our life. Like, we're never going to have people that always hang out. Or, you know, nobody has time for that. Nobody does this. Nobody does that. Nobody gets that comfortable. They have kids, and it's just a hassle. Like, nobody does things like that. And then she's like, well, what about these people next door? I go, I don't want them to be Steve and Marcy. Like, I like them. That's fine, but I don't want that. So, yeah. So, anyway, these guys just walk in the house. They're terrible. Their big announcement, which I kind of felt bad about, is that Steve and Marcy's house was robbed this afternoon. And, you know, I guess that's funny or something for the show, but my place was robbed. I lived in an apartment, and they came in and took everything. And it's really weird because in this episode, they mention that first they go for the small things, then they come back and get the big stuff. And that is exactly what they did to me. But the problem is it was an inside job. It was like a real shady area I was living in. The landlord had this group of guys. He was like a younger guy too, like in his 30s. And there was all bad news. I should have never even been there. But yeah, I got hit twice and it was the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I actually got robbed once when I was like, like 10 or something as well. I was living in like a projects type area and they came in and I remember to this day they stole my entire VHS collection, like all my horror movies and Disney movies and the VCR and the TV. It was dreadful. And I always remembered like having a weird feeling that like, wow, like somebody was standing here. Like some stranger was standing right here, like looking at all my stuff.